We are going back to Australia for number two. Home and Away gets number two. When I was talking about Days of Our Lives, I talked about how the James E. Riley era of Days of Our Lives in the 90s was a vibe. And I kind of feel like the past decade or more of Home and Away is also a vibe. And I don't know if vibe is the right word to describe how I feel about Home and Away. I just feel like the way Home and Away produces this show, they just produce it in an exciting way. It's the music, it's the way it's shot, it's the over the top dramatics. It's their promos are actually exciting most of the time. So Home and Away has been able to have this trait for a while now, which is also why it's been a show. Although I haven't watched it a lot over the past few years, there was a point where Home and Away was like the only soap opera I was watching other than Hollyoaks, because it's entertaining. That's becoming the theme here. Now, Home and Away is a plot-driven soap opera, and it's funny because the number one soap opera this month is a character-driven soap opera, in my opinion. But I like both. In fact, sometimes I like plot-driven more than character-driven because it's easier to make plot-driven shows more entertaining. It just is. And so I feel like that is something Home and Away does great. Yes, it's pretty plot driven, but the stakes always seem high, even if they don't kill off a lot of characters like the British soap operas do. The stakes on Home and Away still feel high, even if they let their characters live. And that's a feat itself. So the main story going on here, and the main reason why Home and Away is above Hollyoaks, is because their stalker storyline was just way more exciting than what Hollyoaks ended up doing with theirs. The crazy stalker reveal sucked, kind of, on Home and Away, but the build of it all was a big event where the stalker who had been stalking Tanya, and some of these names I might mess up, but Tane, we're gonna call him Tane. I'm not Australian. I don't know how y'all talk, but Tanya or Tane, I could go on with this name all fucking day, but let me move on. So the stalker was stalking him and went off the deep end to try and hurt others. There was this whole story where the stalker knocks out Tanya and then shoots toxins into his house and into this big event that's going on. And so the toxins get to like most of the characters on the show. That was a great week. It was really over the top. It was a big event. And the music was great and the vibe was great. And that's why that week alone is the reason that Home and Away is so high, because that week alone was just way more exciting than almost anything else going on any of these other soap operas. So we had that big toxin stunt, which Felicity had been thought of as being the stalker because she and Tanya had hooked up. She wanted more. Tanya didn't. She was mad about it, and it seemed like she was a psycho stalker. A lot of people thought that. Now, the reveal was it turned out to be Felicity's friend, Anne. I mean, at first I didn't even know her fucking name. But yeah, Anne, I think that's her name. Still not unsure. So the fact that Anne, her friend, was the stalker that ended up wanting to hurt both Felicity and Tanya because I guess Anne's just a crazy psycho. That's what I talk about plot driven, because it was kind of out of nowhere and her reasoning didn't even make sense because Tanya was just mean to her at a party or something. It was a lot. But as plot driven as that was, I think the overall story was just very good television, exciting television. And it's why Home and Away remains a vibe or whatever it is. It's just exciting and the stakes always seem high. There's some other things going on though that I also like. I like the character of Theo, who is like a troublemaker who is new to town and is hooking up with Chloe, and Chloe just broke up with Ryder. So there's kind of like a triangle there that I enjoy right now. I think that can be an interesting tell, an interesting triangle. Triangles on soap operas, they do get old, but I think I will enjoy this one just because I like the character of Theo. and Chloe and Ryder. So because I like all three characters, the triangle could work. We have Dean, who's been recovering from an accident. That's been another main story. Uh, Dean and Ziggy are two characters that I have enjoyed over the last couple of years. So I haven't watched a lot of Home and Away, but I've seen enough to like Dean and Ziggy as a couple. And then during the toxins, we had it like the character of Marilyn, I believe is her name, had a delayed reaction to the toxins during that big event. And since then, her personality has changed. So I like that they used a big event to change her personality because of the toxins. So that's been entertaining. Um, but the main storyline was Felicity. They thought Felicity was a stalker. We had Niku, I think that's his name, really going on terror on social media to blame Felicity, which is a nice touch of the story. Cash, Felicity's brother, who is a cop, was burning evidence for Felicity because at first he thought Felicity was innocent, started to change his mind after that because Anne was setting Felicity up. But I like that Cash had this dilemma between being a cop and being Felicity's brother. And so in the end, like Anne kidnapped Felicity, ended kidnapping Tanya as well, was going to kill them both, but of course they were saved. Anne was arrested. Kind of where the month left off. But all in all, I think Home and Away is just exciting television. At least it sure was in October. So if they can just keep the vibe, which I know they can because this has been the vibe for such a long time on Home and Away. They make exciting promos, they have over dramatic music. It's really over the top sometimes, but not in a, Days of Our Lives way, which goes off the deep end with camp or with fucking sci-fi. It's just over the top in like vibe, and it works for me. I enjoy Home and Away. We'll see if it can. It's coming off such a huge, exciting month in October that I don't think they can top it in November. So I don't know if it will be this high on my rankings in November. But for now, Home and Away, an exciting show.